Access. It was a week for endings that were perfectly scripted.
He got it with 11 seconds left to go!
And endings that were perfectly absurd.
Baby, how big is that?
When anything that could happen did.
Great throw by Brady.
And everything that shouldn't happen,
Pringle tastes the sweet nectar of the end zone.
well, that happened too.
Oh, my word.
How two unbeatens went down to defeat. How only the Steelers now remain
It is no good.
perfect. Sunday's top plays, Sunday's top players, disappointment in Cleveland, disaster in Dallas. And one more drama to go in LA. NFL Total Access starts right now. Welcome to NFL Total Access, presented by Bridgestone. I'm MJ Acosta-Ruiz. We're setting you up with everything you need to know for Rams and Bears. Jared Goff, Nick Foles getting ready to face off. A special double dose on this Monday. No, I don't mean the games. There's just the one. But we do have both Willie McGinnis and Steve Mariucci in studio with me. David Carr and Maurice Jones-Drew will join us as well. Week 7 Sunday slate was another wild one. But we start with the latest in injury news. The Browns won the Battle of Ohio, but took a major loss when Odell Beckham Jr. got hurt and left the game in the first quarter. Today's MRI showed Beckham is out for the season with a torn ACL.
It's a big loss. As everyone knows, he's a huge part of what we do. So now we'll just have to huddle up and find some different ways and find some different people and put them in that role. And ultimately, we're just trying to do what our players do best. You never replace a player of Odell's caliber with one player. You know, the energy he brings to practice, the energy he brings to games, you can't, no one else is going to be able to bring that type of juice. But it's our job to find the guys that can go compete, that we can go put them in spots where they can succeed. And I think we'll be able to do that.
Tweets and posts, of course, poured in from all around the league showing support for Beckham. His teammate and good friend Jarvis Landry saying, quote, "Man, I know how hard you work and how invested you are to be legendary. My heart hurts. I love you, brother." All right, let's bring in NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport for more on this. Now, Ian, Odell Beckham Jr. now out for the season, as we know. What does his timeline look like for recovery?
Well, it's going to be about 9 months for recovery. Typical ACL surgery. Going to have surgery soon and begin the reconstruction process. And the reality is, MJ, this is something that the Browns coaches and Browns staff members knew was probably the reality, the fact here after the game. They knew was bad. Sometimes you hear some optimism. Oh, maybe we'll get lucky with the MRI. Not the case here. They knew he was probably going to be out for the season. And that's exactly what happened. And now the question is, what does the future hold for Odell? He's got $12 million, a little more, guaranteed for injury next March. That becomes fully guaranteed, so he is uncuttable. But could they trade him somewhere around late in the spring, early summer? Obviously, that is something we'll be keeping our eye on. Meanwhile, another big-time story here. The Dallas Cowboys may have lost Andy Dalton for Sunday's game. He's officially in the NFL's concussion protocol after that nasty hit from Washington linebacker John Bostic. You're going to see it right here. And my understanding is Bostic will not be suspended for this hit. He is, however, likely to get a hefty fine for his efforts.
Well, another player looking to make his return to play. What's the update on Christian McCaffrey?
Well, Christian McCaffrey practiced today for the Carolina Panthers. That is good news. His first time practicing since suffering that high ankle sprain about a month ago. But they have the Thursday game on NFL Network, by the way, against the Falcons. From what I understand, even though he practiced today, he is considered a long shot to play in that game. Probably the following week is more likely. But either way, one of the best players in football, Christian McCaffrey, is making solid progress and should be back sooner rather than later for Carolina.
All righty, and thank you. That Panthers game, one of the many games that came down to the wire this week.
And off we go from Glendale, Arizona.
Quick throw over the middle. Picked off. Isaiah Simmons has it to win the game here in overtime. Hit from Gonzalez is up. It looks good. It is good. I cannot believe it. What a ball game.
Stafford throws deep down the field. It is caught. Stafford empty out of the gun. He's got it. Looks, throws, and caught. Oh, baby, how big is that?
Throws right sideline. Oh, what a catch by Higgins.
will attempt an NFL record 65-yard field goal.
This kick is no good, just short.
Tannehill firing right side for Brown. He's got it. It'll be a 45-yarder.
Kicks it on its way. The kick is wide right. It is no good. Wow, I can't even hardly believe it. The Steelers are 6-0.
Oh, yeah, we're going there. We're just wrapping up week 7, but the AFC playoff picture, that's coming into focus. Look at that. The Steelers sitting pretty at 6-0. The Chiefs would be in, the Titans would be in, and the Bills. Guys, I mean, this is one of those things we'd love to do. Week 7, realistic to see this. Willie and Mooch on the big stage with me for the first time this season.
First time, MJ. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. David Carr
Moochie, man.
will be joining us through the magic of the internet. And as we look at that AFC playoff picture, guys, let's take a look back at Sunday's game, because that Steelers-Titans game, Willie,
Absolutely.
I mean, what really stood out to you about the Steelers?
Well, when you play against a team like the Titans, you got to understand it's going to be physical, and your defense better be ready to go in and accept the challenge. And the Pittsburgh Steelers showed that not only was they ready, but they were motivated and they were excited. So when you watch the tape and you see what the Steelers did, how they broke it down, you got to set the edge, okay? Derrick Henry is going to get the ball early and often. You got to slow his feet down and stop him. T.J. Watt does a great job right here, setting the edge, outside shoulder free, make him slow his feet down so he can't get on the outside. Vince Williams, okay? He knows where the play is going. He's reading and reacting. He's moving fast. Ben Jones doesn't even get time to get off the double team and get him. Penetration in the backfield, big play. All right? Technique, control the trenches. Stephon Tuitt up front. He's going to attack with his hands. He knows where the play is going. Engage, attack, and then shed the play. You got to get penetration to slow this man down and get him to stop his feet. Get penetration, make the play, and then count him up. 6 white shirts around the football. You got to gain tackle Derrick Henry, else you have no chance. All right, so now that they can't run the ball, if they're running the ball well, what are they going to do? Play action, they're going to pass. T.J. Watt coming off the edge. Important learning lesson. Get even with the quarterback. Nothing good happens behind the quarterback. Once you get even, you know he's going to step up. Inside swim move, make a play, get the sack. Don't let him get the ball off. Last but not least, like I said, you got to be physical, Coach. They're not running from anybody. They're not getting away from the ball. Spillane understands this. He only has 9 career reps. Okay, just 9. But guess what? He ain't afraid of nobody, not even Derrick Henry. You gotta be physical, and you gotta have that want-to. Now he did lead the game after that play,
yes, he did.
but he did his job.
So who won that one?
And he did not let him in the end zone.
David Carr.
I love that. My neck hurts just watching that play. I'm glad I never had to fill an A-gap from a quarterback position. But you speak of defense, and I can't help but look at what's going on in the NFC, Willie. You got a defense over in the NFC with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who are playing lights out. And you just look at what they've done the last couple weeks. Okay, you play Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, the running back, has 10 carries for 15 yards, 1.5 a carry. The next week, they play Josh Jacobs. He has 10 carries for 17 yards, 1.7 yards a carry. You're left as an offensive coordinator saying, what do you do against this team? The Packers tried to spread it out and throw it over the yard. Aaron had a terrible day. The Raiders tried to stick with the run, but it was almost just non-existent. There was nowhere to go. They're literally squeezing down from the outside. Dominican Sue's taking guards and slamming them together. There's speed at the linebacker position. They're aggressive in the secondary. You know, it's a very good football team, a very good defensive unit. But now you put on top of that what Tom Brady's doing on the offensive side, and that makes that defense that much better because now they're fresh. I mean, they're exuberant because now you got guys making plays. I mean, they're scoring 45 points a game. This is going to be a very difficult out for any NFC team trying to knock these guys off because, okay, Nate, you're going to add Antonio Brown to this game, to this team. I mean, if he's anywhere near ready to go out and make plays, you know, and he's in the right place, right headspace, I mean, you add that to this team with that defense and Brady throwing the ball the way he is and Gronk now stepping up because O.J. Howard's not there. I mean, why aren't they going to be in Tampa Bay for the Super Bowl? Someone tell me why they won't be there because I haven't seen a team that can keep them away from that place.
I'm not going to say that, certainly, especially not after what we saw on Sunday. But while you're talking about that division, another NFC team, Mooch, I'm going to toss this over to you because the Saints have now won 3 in a row. However, Teddy B and the Panthers, they gave a little fight.
What a great game. And the Saints win this thing 27-24. But this is the first time, MJ, in the history of the world that opposing quarterbacks both threw for over 80% completion, over 250 yards, couple of touchdowns, no interceptions. You're talking about perfection on both sides, really, okay? Somebody had to win, somebody had to lose. But you know what? The interesting thing was Drew Brees was without his top two receivers. You're talking about Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders missing the game. So somebody's got to step up. Alvin Kamara is an absolute beast. And we got Jared Cook and Callaway really did a good job in their absence. So they're always going to be a good team as long as Drew Brees is upright. And on the other side of the field, you're talking about Teddy Bridgewater, who used to be a Saint. He was 5-0 with the Saints when Drew was hurt. And you know what? He only had 5 incomplete passes the whole darn day and playing without Christian McCaffrey. Mike Davis did a good job. Robbie Anderson did a good job. Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore. I mean, this team is really playing very well for Maverick. There he is. He's sitting with his quarterback friends, right? And you're talking about 2 really good quarterbacks, 2 really good friends, and this is going to be a great rivalry in the NFC South going forward.
A lot of, but like, how much respect did they show Teddy Bridgewater when he went back there? That was one of my favorite parts of the game. Yeah. Such a battle, exactly what we wanted to see. Mooch, Willie, and David Carr, thank you guys. And speaking of the Panthers, it's a short week for Carolina as they host Matt Ryan and the Falcons on Thursday Night Football, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox, TNS, that's on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. All right, let's head out to SoFi Stadium. Look at that. A little love. Jared Goff, Mitch Trubisky hanging out, just hanging out a little bit before the game there. Monday night matchup, of course, and we are going to check in with our Hall of Fame QB, Kurt Warner, who's also at the game. We'll get to tonight's game in a minute, Kurt, but I have to hit you on the NFC West thriller from last night, Seahawks and Cardinals. What did you take away from that game?
MJ, what a great football game. And, you know, you first take away from it, you know, Seattle, Russell Wilson played such a great game, especially in the first half. I mean, they were lighting that building up. But I think the biggest takeaway is the way the Cardinals, you know, battled through some of the adversity, battled through being down late, and didn't give up. Russell Wilson's had tremendous success in that building. He feels very comfortable in Arizona's home building, but Arizona has to at some point step up and say, hey, we can battle with the big boys. And last night they did just that. Every time it looked like the game was going to get away from them, they found a way to make a play, either offensively or defensively, to get this thing won, and we saw in overtime. It was a big interception on defense, and then the offense came back and found a way to get points on the board to win this game. So a big step-up game for the Cardinals, and you mentioned it, the NFC West is so tough this year. Every game is going to matter, but you feel like anybody can beat anybody.
Well, let's talk about your NFC West hosting Rams tonight in their stadium, the Bears coming to town. What do you have your eye on for this game tonight, Kurt?
Well, this game to me is about Jared Goff against the Chicago Bears defense. Jared Goff hasn't had a great deal of success against this defense. He's got 0 touchdowns, 5 interceptions over the last couple years. This defense, we know they can get after you with 4. We saw him do that to Tom Brady a couple weeks ago. But they're so aggressive on the back end. They really shrink the field because they know they're going to get pressure, so you got to get the ball out of your hands. So they shrink the field for an offense. That's going to be the key. Can they run the football? Can they get the play action? And can they get a couple big shots over the safeties when they're playing aggressive? But that, to me, is where this game is going to be won and lost. Really good offense of the Rams, very good balance against that really stingy defense of the Bears.
Kurt, I could talk to you all night about this matchup, but I know you got to get to work, so we'll let you go handle your business. We'll check in with you, though, later in the week for more. Thank you, Kurt. Coming up on NFL Total Access, he started ice cold, he finished on fire. But Tay Adams had the Texans' number this week. He set a career high with 196 receiving yards and added 2 touchdowns on the way to a Packers victory. Adams proving he is still one of the top receivers in the league. Meantime, the Cowboys defense had arguably their worst performance of the season against the Washington football team on Sunday. A total collapse for Dallas. Head coach Mike McCarthy spoke today about why he's committed to trusting the process.
We understand the disappointment outside of the building. That's clearly, worthy of the criticism. So, frankly, we got to make sure that we stay on point, stay on target, and just not react and try to change up a bunch of things just to change. That's not my nature. I'm a big believer in the process, and that's going to be the approach.
right, Willie, let's get into this. Where do we even begin with the Dallas Cowboys defensive issues?
We don't have enough time on this show, MJ, but what I will say is some of the coaching things are true. And I know when you're trying to install and put together game plans for a new system, players are going to struggle. But the players also have to understand that they got to be accountable. And some of this falls on the player, too. So when you look at the tape and you're being real with yourself, this is going to come down to what the players are doing. Here you are on the outside, Trevon Diggs. This is just a go route. Why are you squatting and looking in the backfield? This is bad technique. This has nothing to do with coaching. McLaurin is running a go route. You're looking in the backfield. Easy touchdown, okay? That's 7 points off the top. That's bad technique. Here's Zeke. He's going to run an F angle. Now, this is not all Zeke's fault. Andy Dalton, get the ball in front of Zeke, not behind him and high. Zeke has the turn. The ball goes up in the air. It's an interception, okay? That has nothing to do with coaching. Now, Jalen Smith, I have nothing to do with his effort. He's a great player, great tackler, but look behind you. There's no safety zone. There's nobody behind you. If you miss this tackle, which you did, it turns into a touchdown. You have no chance, all right? Now, block your man. This is football 101. It's a guy coming off the edge. Get in front of him, block him, take him up. This turns into a strip sack and a bad play. So what you have to do, Dallas Cowboys, players, you got to be accountable. Look yourself in the mirror. Handle your business first. The coaching, they'll take care of themselves. If not, like players, they won't be there. So I think it's a team effort. The coaches got to do their part, but it's also a lot of this also falls on the players, MJ.
I mean, you got to talk right to them. And you saw all of the holes just left and right. It was really rough to watch, too, as a football fan, seeing this team. Willie, thanks. And, of course, Washington with a big win over Dallas, but it was head coach Ron Rivera with the real victory Monday. Big cheers for Coach Rivera, who completed his final chemo treatment today, a big step in his battle against cancer. Now, the Battle of Ohio was a back-and-forth shootout, but ultimately Baker Mayfield and the Browns beat Joe Burrow and the Bengals in a game that came down to the wire. Burrow and Baker putting on a show for us on Sunday. Now, the Browns, of course, they got the tub there. 37-34. Of course, the final minutes, if you were paying attention to that game, had everybody biting their nails. Baker Mayfield finished 22 of 28, 97 yards, and 5 touchdowns on the day. Let's get to Game Center, presented by Bridgestone. David Carr here to share his QB perspective. What did you see from Baker Mayfield in yesterday's game, David?
Well, if you notice that stat line, MJ, he was 22 of 28. He missed his first 5 passes. The very first one was severely underthrown to Odell Beckham, and it led to Odell Beckham having to chase down a play and blowing out his knee. So you looked at Baker's face after that play, and it was like deer in headlights, and he was trying to just get his mind wrapped around what he had to do the rest of the game. He went on to only have 1 more incomplete pass the rest of that football game, through 5 touchdown passes, and I was more impressed with Baker Mayfield's mental toughness than I was anything else that he did in that game. He was accurate, he threw the ball well, play action was nice. He went from going 0-5, he hit his next 5, threw a touchdown pass, went to halftime, came out, sling it again. Play action pass again, great. Protection was good, but he went head to head. I mean, he said, no way, against a rookie, am I going to do this on the road? Are we going to lose to this guy? And he willed his team to victory without their best player, Odell Beckham Jr. It was a fantastic performance by Baker Mayfield. I was really impressed.
I mean, a little shade for the rookie there. No way am I getting beat by the rook in this one.
You can't. You just can't do it.
You can't do it. Thanks, as always. Great insight. All right, we are getting you ready for Monday Night Football. We'll have Tail of the Tape coming up next on NFL Total Access. Of course, taking a look at Rams and Bears as they get ready to battle it out on Monday Night Football from SoFi Stadium. We'll be right back.
Tessa is getting her holiday shopping done early at Amazon.
Bridgestone Clutch Performance. Mooch, answer that for me.
How about that guy right there, Aaron Donald? You know what, MJ? He's been the Defensive Player of the Year 2 times. There's only been 2 guys in the history of our league that have won it 3 times, and he might well be on his way. That's J.J. Watt and Lawrence Taylor. Since 16, man, nobody has had more quarterback hits and pressures and caused turnovers. You name it. This guy's a beast, and he is the Bridgestone Clutch Performer, Aaron Donald.
So glad you mentioned him, Mooch, because first I want to welcome in Steve Wyche, who is out at SoFi Stadium for tonight's Monday night matchup. And we're going to get into this defensive battle, Steve Wyche, because you can't talk about Rams and Bears without talking about Khalil Mack and Aaron Donald and that defensive group.
Yeah, two great members from the same draft class. And Khalil Mack has had 3 of his 4.5 sacks the last 2 games. Of course, Aaron Donald, 7.5 sacks to lead the NFL. And in talking to players from both teams on how they're going to handle each other, let's start with how the Rams want to get after Khalil Mack. I spoke to right tackle Rob Havenstein, who is going to be faced up against Mack a lot. And he said they have really got to attack him and, in fact, be aggressive in attacking that whole defensive front, because you got a lot of other winners there that free up Khalil Mack, but they're going to be very cognizant of where Mack is. As for Aaron Donald, Bears center Cody Whitehair said their communication has got to be on point because Donald moves all along that defensive front. They have got to know exactly where he is, and their strategy is to try to, according to Whitehair, get into him early and get physical on him early, because they know if he gets going, he can be a significant problem. Now let's also talk about the quarterbacks, MJ, who have to face these guys. Bears quarterback Nick Foles, he's kind of slowly getting ingrained into what head coach Matt Nagy wants to do. And Nagy said this week that they knew this was going to be a slow burn, getting him indoctrinated. So some Bears offensive linemen said this week the best thing they can do is to get the run game going. That has not been great, especially now that they're going to have to face this Rams defense. That's going to be a significant challenge.
Well, Steve, as we get ready for the game tonight, of course, a lot of the players also focused on what's going on off the field. 8 days away from Election Day, the Rams with a lot of voting initiatives. What are they doing?
Yeah, MJ, if you look around this entire stadium, on every ring, you can see behind me, it says vote. And they've had several players, especially wide receiver Robert Woods and quarterback Jared Goff, lead a lot of voting initiative drives. In fact, Woods, he is working with a rideshare company to provide rides to get people to the polls and the ballot boxes. Also on Election Day, just outside of SoFi Stadium, there will be a polling place for people who live in this area. It will not be in the stadium. It'll be outside in a facility that they're putting together right now. But again, the Rams are doing their part, as did the whole NFL, to get people to the polls and to express their voices by expressing their votes.
And there's not one piece behind you that doesn't have vote on it, like you said, Steve White. Thank you. We'll check in with you later for more on this Monday night matchup. All right, time now for Tale of the Tape. Willie, Mooch, and David join me for this one. Now, let's dive into this one part by part, you guys. David, the category is quarterbacks for Bears at Rams.
Of course it is. That's always the first one on the list, MJ. You're absolutely right. So quarterbacks, when you look at it, so Jared Goff, and I kind of put Sean McVay in this also. And then you look on the other side, you got Foles with Matt Nagy. I just think that Sean McVay and Jared Goff have a clear advantage here. It's the Rams all the way, the ability to see things at line of scrimmage. I think Jared has gotten a lot better at line of scrimmage, understanding what he's seeing. When he first came out of college, he had no idea. He's now in the top, I would say 10, as far as getting his team in the right place. So I'm going to go Rams all the way.
All right, Mooch, teeing this one up to you. You get the running backs.
Yes, yes. Oh, running backs. Thank you. Thank you, Vanna White. Okay, so let's talk about this. And I'm going to give the advantage to the Rams, and I'll tell you why. They play running back by committee, don't they? Darrell Henderson, Malcolm Brown, once in a while, Cam Akers from Florida State. And you know what? They use all of these guys very well, but the thing they do best in the passing game is play action pass.
Yes.
So the run game and the play action pass with this running back core, very essential, and they're doing a good job of it. That's why I give the Rams the running back advantage.
Okay.
All right, guys, I'm going to take the receivers group, but I'm going to talk a little Bears here because I want to shout out Allen Robinson, who, for the record, has been doing great for my fantasy team. I hope I have not jinxed him for tonight. But when you look at the other side of this, the Rams wide receivers group, yes, we know Cooper Kupp, we know Robert Woods have been going off. Robinson is having a better season than both of them. I don't have my bifocal, so I'm going to read these to you. He has 66 targets, 40 receptions, 474 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. Also, as a unit, both Kupp and Woods have had just one 100-game each. Robinson has 2 so far. Just hear me out. I'm just saying, keep an eye on him tonight in this game.
Hey, MJ, hold on. Before you get to me, you ever heard of a guy named Jalen Ramsey?
I know, I hear you, but I'm just saying.
So you won't hear of a guy named Allen Robinson tonight. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
That's for fun. go ahead and talk about defense then.
All right, I'm going to get on the defense, and I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. And I know we talk about Aaron Donald, and he is one of the best players to ever do it at his position, and Jalen Ramsey is right up there as well. But when I talk defense, I look at the back, the middle, like Eddie Jackson, the guy on the back end. You look at the linebackers with Roquan Smith, Danny Trevathan, guys up front that can control the trenches. Khalil Mack is feeling real disrespected because nobody's really talking about Khalil tonight. So you got Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, Robinson. You got guys on every level that can play this game. Robert Quinn, don't forget about him on the edge. And then when you look at what they're doing, just over 19 points a game. They're number 2 on third down, so they're getting off the football field. And guess what? Passing TDs that the Rams like to do, even though I'm picking the Rams, they're number 1. Yeah. They're only giving up 4 passing TDs. And completion percentage, they're number 1. So overall, this is a good defense. And they're middle of the pack of takeaways, Coach.
Yeah, okay. Well, I get to do the coach, right, MJ? I get to do the coach?
I got you.
Go ahead. Coach. Right here. Coach. Well, let me tell you, this is the tiebreaker. It looks like it's 2-2, huh? I'm going to say the Rams, and I'll tell you why, Willie. All right? Both of these coaches, Matt Nagy and Sean McVay, have won Coach of the Year honors, okay? They're both solid as heck that way. They both have great offenses, a lot of fun to watch. Defenses. Yep. But their offenses, Sean's been much more consistent, and the Bears are still trying to find their way a little bit.
Trying to figure it out.
Over there. So I'm going to give the advantage to the Rams, and plus they slept in their own bed. I mean, the Chicago Bears, they were in the same hotel I was in.
They've been out here since Saturday.
They came out Saturday. What do you do all day Saturday, Sunday, Monday? Watch a lot of soap operas, I guess. But you know what? I give the advantage to the Rams when they're playing at home in SoFi.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. So Mooch broke the tie there, the advantage to the Rams in his tail of the tape. But while we're talking about no disrespect all early on a Monday, let's look at our Monday Night Football picks board. This is standings.
Why do you have to highlight my own? Yeah, no, I'm done.
MJ Acosta Ruiz, who's that? She's in the top spot, 6-1. Willie and Mooch both at 5-2. David Carr. He's done picking with his heart because he's at 3
It's all
and 4
I'm emotionally invested.
Our in-house nice guy. You gotta start being cold-blooded. That's all it is. So what will it be this week, guys? David, I'm gonna start with you. Set it off right from the jump. Who you got for tonight?
The best team is the Rams, so I'm going to go with the Rams. No more heart. I'm ripping it completely out. All just rational opinions here.
No more heart. You are heartless.
Cut the heart out, huh?
Right. All right. Well, I'm going to go with the Rams too, Willie. 30-24. Is that what I'm going to do?
Yeah,
30-24. You know.
Got you.
It's going to be a good game though.
All right.
2 good teams here.
All right. Yeah. And I'm going to go with the Rams as well. 30-20. What did I say? 30-20. I don't think it's going to be a 6-7 point game. I think it'll be 10 points. The Rams just have too much offensively. As good as the defense is for the Bears, I think at some point they'll wear down if they can't generate points and be consistent on third down and move the ball down the field. So I'm going to go with the Rams. They're at home. They're rested. They're ready to go, and they're going to be explosive offensively with something up their sleeve that the Bears have not seen.
Yeah?
All right, we're starting to look like our Thursday night football colleagues. I'm also going Rams. 30-27. I hope that we are much luckier than they are since we have a clean sweep across the board for Los Angeles. All right, guys, thanks. We have a lot more coming up after the break, and with sincere apologies to all NFL running backs, it's time to see who tripped this week's baller alert. Little hint. Last night football. Allen Robinson out on the field, even though Willie says he's got to look out for Jalen Ramsey tonight. We'll see, Willie. We shall see. Getting you ready for Monday Night Football. All right, let's get into one of my favorite segments of the week. It's time for Moochies, man. Live and in person.
Where did that purple thing come from? I don't have that.
It's in your closet, Mooch. Come on. It's fine. You can get swaggy with it. But who gets the honor this week of Moochies, man?
How about this guy right here, Cliff Kingsbury? Look at him. He's got the sunglasses on, he's a good-looking guy over here from college, right, from Texas Tech. How about you were mentioning that his house during the draft?
Incredible.
Huh? He has that
short pants, no socks, loafers on.
That's how he rolls, man. You know what? But it's hard enough to win a game in the National Football League as it is, yet beat an undefeated team, right?
Yep.
And his Arizona Cardinals last night on Sunday Night Football, man, was that a great game or what?
Incredible.
And the Seattle Seahawks were 5-0, and they're playing great. You got maybe the MVP, Russell Wilson, and his team kept fighting. They never led till the very end, and it took them into overtime to figure out how to work their their way back into this game. They intercepted Russell Wilson 3 times. How about Kyler Murray? Woo. That little guy, man, can play. He had 427 scrimmage yards, and he had a smile on his face on that.
He did.
He was smiling like, I got this. And he throws it to D-Hop, and there's another great get. And this is all without Chandler Jones, the great pass rusher. And so these are 2 great football teams in the NFC West. Heck, the NFC West, MJ, might have all 4 teams going to the playoffs.
Legitimately.
What a competitive division. But anyway, look at him. Kingsbury, you are Moochie's Man of the Week.
He almost looks like you in this picture back here, like in that animation with the glasses on, just chilling.
60 pounds ago. Okay.
Thanks, Mooch. All right, let's get you ready with your fantasy roster. Here are the top fantasy performances of Week 7. Look at that. Tyler Lockett, 53 fantasy points. Devontae Adams right behind him, 44.6. Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, we were just talking about him, Tom Brady, and Joe Burrow rounding out the list. All right, those guys all balled out this week. Let's see who else is on Baller Alert, Lily.
Yeah, I like that horn. Thank you, Sarah. And you know what, David? A lot of guys balled out this weekend, some spectacular performances. So I'm going to start with you, of course, like I always do. The quarterback always first in everything. Give me your first baller.
Well, there are 3 quarterbacks on that fantasy list that are rookies, so I don't know how that's happening. I can't figure that out because it was hard when I was a rookie. But Justin Herbert, again, on this, for me, is out of control because the last 3 games, he's thrown 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, and is playing lights out and is giving the Chargers an actual chance in this thing. Love watching him play. He's absolutely fearless. He's kept his ability to throw it down the field while making better decisions, tucking it and running it when he needs to. Justin Herbert, baller alert. That kid can play. Love watching him.
Love it, love it. And I'm going to go with Kenny Golladay, receiver for the Detroit Lions. Now, let me tell you this. This kid is probably right now the best 50-50 receiver in the league. I don't care where you put the ball. He's going up. He's aggressive. He high points. He's going to body you up. He's going to take the football. He gives his quarterback a chance, regardless if he's double-teamed. You see right there, getting hit. He's physical, and he's a baller. Had about over 140 yards, 6 receptions. Didn't get in the end zone, but he is the big difference, and he's the reason why this Detroit passing game is one of the coldest passing games in the league, because that man right there can beat a double team, a triple team, and, of course, one-on-one. So, Golladay, my baller of the week.
Well, he's got a quarterback that'll throw it up there and give him a chance. You got to love that. But I love this kid, Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. The Washington football team has an incredible front 7, and you couple that with a guy that can take the top off the coverage, and he talks a big game as well. I love it. I love his attitude. I love what he brings to that football team. I think that this is the kind of guy that you have to have as a staple for your young football teams going forward. They have a really good one. Don't let him slide away like the Patriots or something, because this is the kind of guy that Belichick finds him playing football and says, we got to get him. He's a great football player. I love watching him. His team's a little bit under the radar, but man, he can really play the game. I love it.
Yeah, David, not him. He's a baller. And did somebody mention my man, Bake? Somebody had a problem with Baker Mayfield, right? Well, he showed up, and he showed out in the tight game. I know it started off slow with the interceptions, but he had 5 total touchdowns, okay? At one point in the game, he was 22 for 23. He was dealing without OBJ. In the second half, he had 4 touchdowns along with no interceptions. You're talking about somebody that was finding and spreading the ball around to other guys like Higgins, People-Jones, Bryant, guys you probably never even heard of, but when you look at the system, when you look at how he was willing his team, playing in the pocket, throwing the ball around to his tight ends and making big plays, Baker Mayfield showed why he was the #1 overall pick. Just need him to keep doing it.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. I love Baker. I love the way he played. His mental toughness was great. This dude is out of control, though. Devontae Adams is back.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if the Houston Texans paid attention, but he was definitely back. Every third down conversion they had went to 17. That's incredible. 13 catches, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Jeez.
But really, he's just a guy that takes this team to a whole nother level because you have the run game, you have the play action, and you get this guy back healthy, and his ability to just win one-on-ones. It's hard because you have to come down, stop the run. You got to make a decision, you know? But if you leave him out there in space, he can do this. He can show you patience in the screen game. He's got crazy vertical ability to go up and catch the ball. His routes are incredible. James Jones was just texting during the game, just stop pressing him. You have to stop trying to put your hands on this guy because it's not going to work. He's a great player.
Yes, he balled out, and he continues to ball. How about DK Metcalf? Here's a guy who didn't have nothing on the offensive side of the ball. touchdowns. He didn't have no receiving yards, none of that. But this play right here is what makes him special. It makes him a great teammate. He doesn't care about how many catches. It's about effort. It's about will. This exemplifies everything that a football player needs to see. It's the more you can do. He ran 108 yards to run down Baker Buddha at almost 23 miles an hour. That sounds like myself. But you talk about a guy like that, they calling him Superman. He does more than just catch passes. So everybody needs to pay attention to what DK is doing. He's a great player who's blossomed into one of the best receivers. And effort like that, he can play on my team anytime.
He made Buddha look like Rich Eisen. That was crazy.
You got to humble